and good morning. Welcome to Lesson 79. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it is really solved already, you will still have the problem because you will not recognize that it has been solved. This is the situation of the world. The problem of separation, which is really the only problem, has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. Everyone in this world seems to have his own special problems, yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the solution that solves them all is to be accepted. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. That is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you are still uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seems to confront you, and as one is settled, the next one and the next arise. There seems to be no end to them. There is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring a different answer. The perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. No one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels, in such varying forms, and with such varied content, that they confront you with an impossible situation. Dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you have resolved the previous ones. Others remain unsolved under a cloud of denial and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again but still unsolved. All this complexity is but a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem, and therefore not to let it be resolved. Yes, if you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand that you have the means to solve them all, and you would use the means because you recognize the problem. In our longer practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is and what the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know. We will try to free our minds of all the many kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem which we have failed to recognize. We will ask what it is and wait for the answer. We will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to it, and we will be told. The exercises for today will be successful to the extent to which you do not insist on defining the problem. Perhaps you will not succeed in letting all your preconceived notions go, but that is not necessary. Thank goodness. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of your version of what your problems are. You are trying to recognize that you have been given the answer by recognizing the problem, so that the problem and answer can be brought together and you can be at peace. The shorter practice periods for today will not be set by time, but by need. You will see many problems today, each one calling for an answer. Our efforts will be directed toward recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. In this recognition are all problems resolved. In this recognition there is peace. Be not deceived by the form of problems today. Whenever any difficulty seems to arise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. You will be heard and you will be answered. This is a very intellectual lesson. If we have the focus, the attention span, and the willingness we can understand what it means. It's a tricky one. Let's begin our longer practice, sitting in a posture that is strong and straight. Inhaling and exhaling. Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. As we sit in practice, I will just review key elements of today's lesson. The problem of separation is the only problem, and it has already been solved. There is no separation. But we suffer. We do not recognize this solution because we do not recognize this as the core problem. There are no special problems. All problems condense to the illusion of separation. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. This is such a powerful phrase. It is so important to why we persist in attaching to our grievances instead of surrendering them in favor of accepting the truth that our separation from God and one another is an illusion. Jesus tells us there is no time in which we feel completely free of problems and at peace. Long series of different problems seem to arise. The next one comes as soon as one is resolved. The temptation to regard problems as many is pretty serious. It is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. It is the temptation to not accept the truth about our practice. Hence, our problem solving becomes inadequate, and failure is inevitable. That's considering our internal and domestic professional problems. When we face the problems of the world that seem overwhelming and completely out of our control, Jesus says to us, no one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. So many levels, such varying forms, such varied content, they seem to confront us with an impossible situation. The result is the suffering we experience: dismay, depression, denial, haunting, hiding, unsolved. Does that sound about right? This complexity is a temptation, a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem. Let us recognize that our problem is separation, no matter what form it takes. Let us accept the answer that there is no separation. Let us perceive the underlying constancy in all problems that seem to confront us. Let us understand that we have the means to solve them all. Let us use this means because we recognize the problem. We are asked in our longer practice period today to investigate. What is the problem? What is the answer? Jesus invites us not to assume that we already know. That's because our mind might know something, but the body and heart do not accept that it is real. The mind knows that I should let go of my grievances because, but we can't. So this is the purpose of today's practice, not assuming that we already know, and that is to try to align the heart, mind, and body. Let's close our eyes and we ask as we inhale, what is the problem? What are the many problems that seem to arise in my life? Personal, physical, mental, familial, professional, with friends, intimate problems with partners, political problems with the world, lots. So putting aside these categories, what is the problem that connects all of these together? We are invited to sit and listen. We are invited to be guided by our intuition. We are inviting in the Holy Spirit to think with and for us. Breathing in and out. What is the problem? We are invited not only to think about what the problem is, but to feel it in the body, in the heart. Trust the impressions and thoughts that come to mind. Allow them to pass and wait for the next. Continue to inhale and exhale. We may be receiving impressions that the problem has to do with a fight for survival, for self-worth, for acceptance, for respect. And every relationship takes on this battle. And now Jesus invites us to ask, what is the answer? What is the answer? Continue to inhale and exhale as we listen for the Holy Spirit's guidance during this very important practice, where this extremely intellectual lesson is all about bringing the mind and body together. Where does my safety lie? Survival, respect, self-worth. Where does that lie? Does that lie in the hands of others? Or does that lie in understanding my unity with God and others? That separation from others is an illusion. Separation from God is an illusion. And breathing into that thought. What does this realization offer us? It offers us the end to suffering. It offers us ease and peacefulness. Complete ease and peacefulness. And complete control over our ease and peacefulness. It restores power and agency. And as we enjoy this epiphany of power, agency, control, that we don't need to fight for survival or self-worth or respect, We give it. We are the withholder and the giver. Just notice the ease in the belly, allowing our energy to flow through any areas that may seem blocked in the body. The heart, blocked from giving and receiving love and forgiveness. The belly, constantly tensed from feeling unsafe. The reproductive area and organs, in a bind from feeling unsafe, unfulfilled, unexpressed, unworthy. Breathing in and out. And the root, the hips and pelvis. Feeling safe. We are safe and respected. The throat. We have a voice. We have agency. We have power. Our real and permanent and most powerful sense of agency comes from recognizing our unity with God. And so sending our awareness up to the head and crown as we open our minds, aligning our heart, our mind, and body, breathing in and out. In this recognition is there peace. Jesus tells us that our shorter practice periods for today are not set by time, but by need. As we see a problem today, each one calls for a different answer, managing, coping, fixing. Our efforts today are our efforts are directed toward recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. Breathing in. In this recognition are all problems resolved. Breathing out. In this recognition, there is peace. Breathing in. Be not deceived by any form of problems. Breathing out. Let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Breathing in. Today I will suspend my judgment about problems. Breathing out. I will be heard. I will be answered when I ask for clarity and help. And just sitting for a moment longer in this wonderful sense of agency and control, of ease and peacefulness and complete resolution. It seems so fleeting. We so have the habit of managing, coping, manipulating, tap dancing to fix. So this approach is very foreign. If we can't sustain the ease and resolution and recognition of peace for very long, that's okay. Even one instant is a miracle. And with time, one instant can become 2 and 3 and few and several and many more. Thank you for joining with me today for this awesome Lesson 79. Let me recognize my problem so it can be solved. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Lesson 80.